From the one and only, this is a Local 10 News Update, sponsored by FHIA, Florida Home Improvement Associates.
Good afternoon, South Florida. I'm Syra Onwar.
And I'm Amy Viteri, and here's a look at your top stories today. Police are investigating an armed robbery in Hialeah that led to a shooting in Miami last night. Our cameras captured a large police presence on Northwest 36th Street near 35th Avenue. Police say that's where the suspects ended up after the robbery. One suspect was shot and taken to the hospital, but it's unclear if an officer fired that shot. We're told a second man was taken into custody. Police are still searching for two others. No officers were hurt in the incident.
Now to a tragic update. A woman has died from her injuries after being shot on I-95. It happened Friday night while 22-year-old Melissa Gonzalez was driving in the southbound lanes near the exit to Northwest 79th Street. Gonzalez managed to pull her car over to the side with help from a passenger and was then rushed to Ryder Trauma Center. Deputies are now working to find out if the victim was targeted or hit by a stray bullet.
Several anti-war protests happened in South Florida Saturday. Protesters gathered in Miami in front of the Torch of Friendship monument at Bayfront Park to denounce the recent U.S. airstrike that killed a top Iranian general. Protesters were also outside the federal courthouse in downtown Fort Lauderdale, holding signs and calling for peace. Some say they fear a war may come if Iranians retaliate against the U.S. President Trump has deployed 3,500 more troops to the Middle East and says he is prepared to take whatever action is necessary.
Listen to Local 10's podcast, The Florida Files, wherever you are, whenever you want. Just say, Alexa, play the Florida Files podcast.
Getting the latest episode of Florida Files. Here it is from TuneIn.
Previously on the Florida Files.
Or just ask Siri, I want to hear the latest Florida Files podcast.
Here's the newest episode of the Florida Files.
Get the Florida Files on Alexa, Google Home, or Apple devices just by saying play the Florida Files podcast. The Florida Files from the one and only Local 10.
There are beautiful works of art on display in Fort Lauderdale. More than 300 top artists from across the country are showcasing their creations at the Olas Art Fair this weekend. The 32nd annual event transforms the boulevard into an outdoor art gallery. Art appreciators, collectors, and shoppers are able to meet artists and purchase pieces at affordable prices.
And as breaking news happens, we have you covered on air and online.
Just head to local10.com for more local news coverage and your updates.